is going on, everybody? Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'll wait just a second, take a look at chat, make sure everybody can hear me just fine before I go on. Let's see, I got Richard, Trail Boss 3. Let's see, who else? Mark Greer, William, Richard. What's up, everybody? Scott Stone, Rowan, J-Check, what is up? Frank, Snow Yeti, Alex. Y'all guys, everybody hear me okay? Think my mic's unmuted. Should be good. By the way, cracked open a beer right before I started. Bad idea. If you're going to speak for a while, you should, I don't know, beer doesn't really work very well. I'm going to wait just a second just to make sure everybody can hear me. If somebody can just say, yeah, sounds good, or I can't hear you, or whatever, I would appreciate it. Stream looks okay. Should be able to hear me. Oh, no, tell me sound's not working. I'm going to go ahead and start because I'm pretty sure you guys should be able to hear me. But if somebody could confirm in chat, I would greatly appreciate that. Oh, hold on. Okay, good. All right, I'll go hurry up and get started. So first of all, I just wanted to do a real quick update on a couple of things. Yeah, it looks like it was lagging a bit there. My bad. Not sure what happened, but all the comments are starting to come through now. But anyway, so if you notice from my last Bitcoin analysis that I did, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago now, this red box was a really important resistance zone that I had been talking about. You can see very clearly here, price came right up to it. Rejection, got inside of it a little bit, rejection, and then boom, got this really big spike up in price right to your range point of control, really critical level that we were talking about. And obviously it was defended quite heavily. You got a really nice move to the downside. Look at that. What was that? Almost 4.5% move, $2,500 within the span of, it looks like, about 30 minutes or so. So that area was defended quite nicely. You go back out to, this is kind of the chart that we're looking at, right? We turn on Ichimoku. You look familiar. This is the same chart that I talked about in the previous video. And we came right up through this level. Again, it was really important. And it is still a very, very critical level. Like for bulls, you really want to look to reclaim this big range point of control right here at 56,240. So this is kind of the level to watch. If you are able to reclaim this, the next level to the upside is still this golden pocket, in my opinion, and you have your monthly open. There's still 3 days left in the month, so I'd be curious to see kind of how we do close this month. But so far, it's been a really nice move, you know, just from your low here up to the wick high, 20% off of the low, almost a $10,000 move up. So that is definitely a really nice move. But that being said, like, you really need to reclaim this range point of control here before you look to move up. I think that if you're able to reclaim this range point of control and really, you know, you get above like 56,500, something like that. Again, you're up in this golden pocket area around 58,000 to really this weekly around 60,000. But, you know, if you're able to reclaim the point of control, your value area high is kind of your next level, which coincides quite nicely with the 786 retracement and your R2 weekly pivot. So you can see like this weekly pivot, especially yesterday, was very well respected right here. Came right up to it, rejected, and we kind of, you know, chilled out for a little bit. On to today, we got that wick up touch, you know, went just through your range point of control before you had that really nice rejection there. So kind of as it stands, you know, you can see from Ichimoku perspective, right? We had this close inside a cloud. This to me got me very neutral. I wouldn't say bearish yet, because like I said in the video, the cloud is still bullish. You're still bullishly crossed as far as your Tenkan and your Kijun go. Like, I wouldn't say that we're bearish sitting here in this cloud. But if you do get this, and you can see where, you know, I was talking about the potential bearish TK cross here, which, and my forecaster dots here are telling me potentially within another 5 days or so. So what is, you know, that puts us Sunday, Monday, something like that. I'm not sure. But, you know, sometime over the next week or so, we really need to pay attention to see how, you know, where is price. Now, again, if we can reclaim this point of control, I do think that we move up towards the top of the range. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we do kind of get some continuation there, which I think could give us another really good opportunity. So in my previous video, again, I was telling you range point of control could offer a very, very nice, easy to manage trade. And basically, if you look to short this region, you know, kind of your invalidation is, do you, like, if you see price actually reclaim this level, you know to get out of the short. So it's really pretty simple. But anyway, as it stands, Bitcoin looks pretty good. You know, we came up, we tested this resistance, and, you know, we're currently sitting above our daily Kijun, you know, so we're sitting right in between our Kijun and our Tenkin here. You know, I think it looks completely fine. That being said, if we do lose this kind of this Kijun support, maybe a rotation back here down to your value area low again. You know, if we pull a fib from, you know, does anything really line up? Not really perfectly, I guess you could say, but, you know, value area low, weekly pivot, the top of this cloud right here. So kind of your 0.5 lining up with your Kumo here, the top of your cloud, that could be a really nice support. And honestly, like, this is really what you want to see. As long as price is closing outside of cloud, that's what I want to see. Now, if you do, now I'm kind of really jumping ahead of myself again, but kind of something, again, this is what I discussed in the previous video, something that I am looking for is that if you do end up getting this bearish TK cross later on in the week and price happens to close inside a cloud, I would likely look for a rotation further south. So like I would start looking at lower price targets. Whenever this happens, you know, if this does end up happening to take shape, then I would be looking probably low, you know, anywhere from low 40, you know, 40 to 43K, something like that would honestly be my target. But so far, you know, that's jumping ahead. That's not something that I really should be discussing right here, because honestly, I do think that there's potential for us to continue to the upside. So that's kind of Bitcoin. I just wanted to touch on, you know, I wanted to touch on it for a second, you know, because obviously the level, you know, this level hit that I was, you know, shouting out to everybody in the previous video. So I wanted to go over that. Jumping on to this. Look at this chart. So this is Bake, okay? And the last time that I talked about Bake was right here on April, was it 12th or the 13th, right? And I actually have it up in Discord for you. So if I go to, where is it? Bake BUSD. So this is my chart right here. Or was this April 13th? Here's the chart. You can see we had just closed kind of this red candle. That's what I was updating. Oh no, here it is. So this was actually the 12th. So because I was quoting this chart, but anyway. So here is Bake. You can see, I know it's kind of hard to see. I think I opened it up here, but it's the same size. Anyway, it was sitting right at this huge resistance level. So here's Bake BUSD. You clear the weekly level. I looked at 265. That's the next level that I was, you know, that I was anticipating hitting. If you did manage to clear the weekly, if you clear that, nice move follows. And I was giving a support area if there's a pullback. But, and you probably, I don't know if you can see this hopefully, but you can go back in Discord chat. So it says posted Bake. Buying here is not smart though, in my opinion. You are literally buying resistance if you do. Just my 2 cents. Now, if it can push above the weekly and reclaim that level, then it makes sense. It's, you know, if you're not in a trade yet, I mean, this is already a really pretty extended move, but you know, it would be an easier to manage trade if you're not in a trade. But again, buying here, not a good idea. And what happened? This was right here. This was literally on this green candle, and I posted that chart right here at the top. I said buying at resistance is a really bad idea. And look what happened after that. We went even deeper than I was giving this the support level, which was your macro value area high around 155. So I was like, that's literally, you know, that's ideally where we would probably pull back to, which we did pull back to. We spent quite a bit of time around there. You can see it became resistance again before it dropped all the way down to your point of control. So literally from here down to the low, 54% move to the downside. Pretty crazy. But I was literally telling people in Discord, buying here is almost suicide. It's not smart to be, you're literally buying resistance. If you had reclaimed the weekly, you know, if you had actually closed above it and price was holding, then it gives you kind of an easier to manage trade, because quite simply, if you lost this level again, then you could exit. But with this kind of move going up into it, you know, if you're not already in a trade, it's like, that's not really something that I myself would be interested in taking. But that being said, you can see buying resistance is really bad. The thing about trading that I will say, and like the thing about technical analysis, is it gives you I don't want to say an inside look at what price is doing, but it gives you a pretty good idea of, you know, is this an opportunity to buy? Is this something that I should stay away from? I knew right here, which is why I posted, buying here is a bad idea. Now, did I expect a 54% move to the downside? No, but I definitely knew that where price was currently sitting was a bad idea to buy, though. I was like, this is, you know, the risk reward for buying here is really, really bad. I would want to see a pullback before I, you know, obviously took a position. Now, that being said, the reason why I'm even talking about Bake is because it's one of the bots that I am running. You know, I am running a trading bot with Bake, and you know, that brings its own kind of set of concerns in, like we've discussed, you know, many times with other altcoins that have run incredibly hard. I mean, you can see just in what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days since the low, you're up 311% in the inside of a week. And really, the majority of this move came within 2 days. You know what I mean? You look at these 2 daily candles, that's pretty impressive. But that, again, this is just an example that I wanted to point out, because I remember as I was going through the altcoins of stuff that I maybe wanted to talk about today, I saw Bake at 60%. So it made me go back to the chart, and then I remember distinctly that I called this out in Discord. So I definitely wanted to go over that. Another thing that I want to shout out, there's a couple of things before I kind of jump into the comments here, is number one, first of all, I just want to shout out all my admins, Telegram, Discord. Like, the admins have been working incredibly hard to, you know, do their best to try to take care of all of the members that we have. I think we have almost 2,800 in Discord now. We have over 1,200 in Telegram. Both chats are quite active. And I just wanted to say a big thank you to my admin team there for doing a killer job, you know, trying to do their best to answer questions. Obviously, the majority of the traffic is related to the trading bot videos that I've done. And I know that, you know, it's been really awesome to see the community growing. And there's a lot of really awesome people that have jumped in, and everybody's very helpful. But I wanted to shout out to my admin team and just tell them thank you. Like, I really appreciate all the hard work that they put in to make Discord and Telegram and really the community a better place. So I appreciate that. And then the second thing, which is the last announcement that I have before I'm going to continue, is, you know, for those of you who are getting, you know, if you're getting private messages in Discord or on YouTube, when you leave a comment and there's somebody who looks like it's me, you know, they use my logo and they use my name, it's not me. Okay. So like, I do answer a lot of questions in YouTube, but I don't even know what WhatsApp is still. You know, I haven't even looked into what, you know, I do not use WhatsApp. So I want to be very clear. Like, I will never ask you for money. I'll never say, hey, I want to advise you on something. Like, that's not it at all. That is not me. That's a scammer. So please be careful when, you know, you're getting messages from supposedly me. You know, I'm rarely the first one to reach out to you, if that makes sense. I will answer questions. But if I answer questions to you on YouTube, it is a direct response. I don't say, hey, you know, DM me this details, or what's your wallet address, or whatever it is, right? Like, I will literally answer the question on YouTube and leave it there. Or you can come to Discord and I'll answer in Discord, but I don't ask for details. That's not me. So please be very careful. So I'm just going to kind of start from where I can see here on chat, and I'll tell you the purpose of this. Like, really, this is just a thank you. You know, like, I wanted to come on live. I had some time today. It's been incredibly busy for me these days, but I wanted to come on. I was getting a lot of questions today in both Discord and a few in Telegram that I saw. So I figured I could come on here and kind of do a live Q&A. I'm happy to look at some charts. If you guys want to look at some altcoin charts, we can talk about that. Or if you have trading bot questions, I can talk about that. So I'm going to kind of start going through chat here. And by the way, if any admins are here, can you please tag me in chat? That way I can make you a moderator if you're not already. So I'm just going through chat. So just give me a second. So Siri, do you think Bitcoin will reach 60K in the near future? Well, I'll tell you again that if we surpass, like if we're able to reclaim that point of control that I was talking about, that I've been talking about for a long time now, then yes, I do think 60K is likely in the near future. Like I think, I want to say like 58 to 60K. Like I'll go back to the chart. So again, if we clear this red box, you know, which is currently really important resistance, if we're able to reclaim that, then these are your next levels that I will be looking at. So really, this golden pocket here, 58 to 59,000. You have a weekly level of 60,000, but really, you know, your value area high, this is like a really big time level if we do manage to make our way up here. And judging by like the reaction that we got at the R1 weekly pivot, I wouldn't be surprised if like the R2 weekly pivot was again like a really important resistance zone. But I think this could be a very, just like I talked about here, I think if we did manage to get back up to 61, 62,000, something like that, somewhere in this range, it could be a phenomenal trade. Like there could be a really nice setup here waiting, because you're in validation. I mean, really, like if we took out all-time high, then you'd likely be wrong on that trade. But I do think that there's a nice setup kind of sitting here waiting, because I'll tell you, and I'll kind of like rehash this for people who may have missed the video or whatnot. But the second that we kind of took out this low here, so I'll tell you, there's a few change of behaviors that have not happened really on this entire run up, right? And look at this trend, like this is phenomenal trend. But the fact that we took out this low right here was kind of a big deal to me. And we didn't just, you see here, we wicked through it and kind of closed back above, right? So that was kind of like, we need to push here and now in order to kind of save, I don't want to save like the uptrend, but this is like a real, you know, this was like a place where I was watching, we weren't getting a really good reaction. It was kind of worrisome. Then you have this next day, we clearly lose, you know, this low, wick all the way into cloud, but we kind of, you know, we had kind of a nice buyback here, but still not quite the reaction that you want to see, like when you take a low like this, right? But then we got this, which we haven't done, again, the entire run up. We haven't even touched the cloud the entire way up, right? So this is another change of behavior. So we took out this low, we actually closed the candle inside of cloud. And so just like I said in my video, like, am I bearish here? No, I'm not bearish. If anything, I'm definitely more neutral though, because, and this was kind of the hint that tells me, because we have these change of behaviors here, that we could kind of be in for some sideways consolidation. Like, I think that, you know, are we going to push straight up here and make another new all-time high? I don't think so. Like, I think, you know, without some more sideways consolidation, now can it happen? Absolutely. But I would really, you know, and that kind of led into the next setup that I was looking at, right? And for those of you, I thought I saw somebody ask me, or whether it was in Discord today or whatnot, but it was the bearish TK cross and then the bullish recross above cloud, right? So that's kind of like what I'm looking at right now. But obviously that hasn't happened yet. And you don't count on something happening, you know, you can't plan for it until it actually happens, but you can kind of keep it in the back of your mind. But anyway, so do I, you know, I don't like to use the word expect, but do I think Bitcoin can hit 60K? Like, sure, absolutely. But this is what needs to happen first. We need to clear this level, reclaim it, and then I do think that we can push higher. Press the like button, guys. That's really appreciated, by the way. I do appreciate that. It does help out my channel immensely. Like if you press the like button, obviously. I don't know what this is about. So you love your videos all the way here in Ireland. Awesome. Calm, relaxing music. Thanks again, Dan. I appreciate that. I would love to go to Ireland someday. So, oh, I got a super chat. What is your take on Matic? Let's take a look. So, Roto Man Dan, thank you for the donation, by the way. What's your take on Matic? Let's take a look. But what pair did you want to look at? I'll do the USDT pair, I guess. But if that, I kind of hope that's the pair you want to take a look at. So let's look. I haven't looked at Matic in a little while. See, I have the Bitcoin chart. Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, I knew it was running, but man, that is quite a move. Well, I'll tell you what. Just give me a couple minutes. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's way down there. It's not even worth doing. That is way down there. Wow. I mean, you don't need to be a genius to know that this is pretty bullish. But, you know, if we can kind of, wow. Yeah, so really, wait, I wonder if I have, actually, let me take a look at something. Forgot I was charting on that. Thought I was charting on, I swear I should have it. Yeah. No, I guess I don't. Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, we're so far. Oh, wow, look at this. Okay, so there's a few. There's not much difference there, is there? No. Sorry, just give me just a second. I'm kind of like taking a look at some stuff here. All right, so this is interesting. So you see from your swing low to your swing high, which is your current, I believe this is probably your current all-time high on Matic. You basically came right down to your 382 fib. So this is a pretty important support level here at 66 cents. So this is literally today. Look at this volatility today. That's impressive. Let me go on a lower time frame. Wow. So you literally popped up here. What is this drop? 25% drop, and then you retrace, like you got all the way back up. Wow, that is amazing. Are you anybody running Matic bots, by the way? See, this is like, you know, so if you're looking for an altcoin to trade, obviously, like when you have something like Matic that's running this hard, like, you know, that's a good bot. But when you have this kind of a spike down and buyback, I mean, this is what you want to see. This is really kind of what you want to see. And obviously, like, I don't know. So is there like a concern about Matic? I guess you could say. So let me look, what's your take on Matic? Well, I mean, obviously it's really bullish. The thing is, like, so you came out of this consolidation period, right? So you got this really, you know, really nice move up here to what, 50 cents area, okay? And then you spent, whoops, hold on one second. I mean, you literally spent 44 days consolidating here before you got another leg up. So like, this leg up to me is it's very bullish, obviously. I mean, it's, you know, like you had your sideways consolidation here, you got another big move to the upside. So, you know, at the moment, again, you bounced off of your 382 fib, which, you know, when you have really strong uptrends, the 382 is really what you want to see held. If I turn Ichimoku on, I mean, obviously this is going to be really bullish. But kind of like what I would think in, you know, as far as the short term goes, is you kind of see this wick to the downside here. It wouldn't surprise me if we kind of put in some sideways. Just like you saw here, really big spike up. I wouldn't be surprised to see Matic kind of go sideways for a while. Now, I'll tell you, like, you know, daily close is in an hour and 18 minutes or something like that. So 83 cents is going to be a pretty important level going forward, because this is very likely going to be, that's very likely going to end up being a daily level. So this is going to kind of be like your immediate resistance, I guess you could say. We're going to have to see how the candle closes today. And then your support right now is this 382. It's very clear. So like, it wouldn't surprise me to kind of see a range. You know, maybe you kind of see some sideways action go on here for a little bit before you get another leg up or something like that. But I mean, obviously this is really bullish. So, you know, if you went down to like a 5-minute time frame, if you're a scalper, for instance, like you could come down to this 5-minute time frame and like you can see your daily level here. But I mean, you can even try to trade this range, but this is a huge, you know, this is a very big range. So this shows you, so for this price action here, okay, you see the value area high, which is coming right around your daily level. So this is kind of like the resistance at the moment, I would say. Like this is like the area you want to be above if you think you're going to make, you know, continue higher, make another new all-time high. Important support level right now, that price is kind of drifting down a bit, is this point of control here around 75 cents. Like this just gives you an idea of, you know, if you're trading this piece of price action right here, where your, you know, your support and resistance levels could be within this piece of price action. But you got to understand as well, like this in the grand scheme of things is very small. Like you're literally like, this is like day trading, you know what I'm saying? But as far as trading bots goes, you know, look at this. This is really good. You know, I'm not running a Matic bot myself, but this is kind of what you want to see, you know. Now, how your bot did, you know, throughout here, I'm not entirely sure. This, you know, this looks, especially like right here in this period, I don't know if there's probably much activity going on, but when you get these big spikes in volatility like this, you get these really big moves, and then you find kind of your resistance area and you get a big sell-off like this. Like this is where trading bots are obviously going to do really well. So that's Matic. Oh man, let me go back up here. Okay, so One Harmony and Vet kicking himself for only buying $50 of Matic. Yeah. So like it's kind of the same thing that I would say. It's kind of the same thing for Bake, right? Now I'm not gonna say it's gonna come all the way back down here or anything, but buying here is not like, it's kind of like not a really good idea. You know what I mean? You already had your really big move to the upside, which, man, I keep selecting the one that I don't want. But I mean, just in the last few days, 204% move to the upside. So buying here, is that smart? I'd argue probably not. You know, if you're able to push above this daily, again, this is too early for me to say, but this is going to become a really important level. I can tell you that. And I think this is going to be a pretty important level going forward. But I would kind of think sideways for a bit, maybe even get a little bit of a deeper retracement. And obviously, like this is going to tie into Bitcoin. Whatever Bitcoin's going to do, you know, like you can, so where is Bitcoin right now? So Matic and Bitcoin are kind of similar in the sense that they're both at really important resistance, right? So that's kind of one way to look at it. If Bitcoin does get a deeper retracement, then I would, you know, I would think Matic maybe, you know, gets weighed down a little bit by that. Maybe we can see some deeper levels back around maybe, you know, 50 cents, something like that, 50, 60 cents. Okay. Related to your first trading bot video, you say you take profits in crypto. That's correct. So if I want to take profits in USD, do I need to set up the bot differently? The only difference, so this is to M Kraken Man. So the only thing that you need to do is take, so when you set your take profit, you're going to say either quote or base. Quote, let's say that you're trading Bitcoin versus USD, okay? So if you're taking profit in quote, that means all your profit should go into USD. If you're taking profit in base, that means the profit that you make from that deal should be kept in Bitcoin or whatever altcoin that is. So again, if you want to accumulate more USD and that's your goal, take profit in the quote side. And then if you want to accumulate in crypto, which is what I've been doing for quite a while now, you would want to take profit in base. Can you chart ADA? I think I can look at ADA. What's your thought on BNB? Matic was over. Here comes bot analytics. I'm the guy that made the advice post on 3. Oh, nice. That was a really good post, by the way. So Arda, I'm the guy that made the advice post on, so you're the one in Reddit, and one of my admins actually commented and said, hey, like somebody mentioned you over in Reddit, and I'm not on Reddit very much at all. So that's why I kind of popped over there to say hi, but that was a really good post that you had. Thoughts on cake? Okay. Oh, Elysium, yep, there you go. Answered that question. Very nice. Okay, so there's just kind of a lot of chart requests. So I will go back and kind of check on that. I just want to make sure that I answer some questions. So where can I find your pivot indicator? So pivots are built into TradingView. So it's really simple. Like if you go to indicators, okay, all you type in is pivots, and it's pivot point standard right here. So anybody, this is a public, I mean, this is built into TradingView. This is how you come up to your, this is how you find the pivot points that I use. And it's really simple. So here's the settings for it. And you can change to weekly, so daily pivots, weekly pivots, monthly or yearly. So that's when I talk about weekly pivots, you'll notice that it's set to weekly. If I wanted to look at my monthly pivots, you just change it to monthly, click OK. And then you obviously have to unhide them. But here's Matic's monthly pivot. So honestly, wow. So okay. So really cool that you brought that up, by the way, because so for Matic, where did you find resistance at? Isn't that interesting? Your R3 monthly pivot. Look at that. Literally right up to your R3 monthly pivot. So this is resistance for Matic right now. That was good timing. That was good timing. But anyway, that's why I like pivots too, because when you're in an all-time, when you're in like a blue sky breakout for Matic, I'm pretty sure this is Matic's all-time high. But when you're in a blue sky breakout, there's really only a few things that can help you identify what potential resistances are above where price has never been before, right? So I'll tell you, pivots are one of those things that can help you determine important resistance zones when you have something that is in a blue sky breakout that, you know, the price has never been trading at those levels before. Pivots are a really awesome tool to use to kind of find those zones, which is why I use them quite a bit. I use them quite extensively in my technical analysis. So that's that. Very good one. And yeah, it's not my pivot indicator. It's literally built into TradingView. Another question that I get, that I've been getting a lot lately, is how do I find the Ichimoku indicator that you use, like the BILSS indicator? So again, that's a private indicator. It's literally one that I had built because it does other things that I've never shown before, and it's stuff that I'm still working on. If you like these forecasting dots here that kind of help give you an idea of where Tenkan and Kiju might be in the future, that's literally what these are for. Okay, if you like this, there's another indicator which I honestly got the idea from, and I have to give a lot of credit. It's called Ali Ichimoku, ALLIE space. Well, I'll just show you. It's this indicator. It's right here. And you notice I have it saved. Ali Ichimoku Cloud V1. So this is literally, you will see exactly what you see here on my screen right now. But you know, the colors might be slightly different or whatever, but the dots, like that's honestly, I got that idea from Ali Ichimoku. It's just my indicator. Again, it does other things and it gives me other signals on here that you don't currently see because I have it set to off. But those are things that I've been working on now for a while when I have time. But anyway, that's a really good indicator. Or you could just use the standard built-in Ichimoku indicator. It's literally going to give you the exact same chart. It's just not going to give you these forecasting dots. Okay, and that's built in to TradingView. Ali Ichimoku is a custom indicator, but they graciously gave access to anybody who wants to use it. So you just have to find it there. Let's see. Okay, let me keep going. How do we learn from these charts? Well, I'll tell you, like, if you've never studied technical analysis before, a lot of what I'm saying is probably gonna sound like, you know, foreign language. It's kind of like how I put it. You really just have to put in the time. Like if you want to learn, there's plenty of resources that, you know, out there that can help you get started. And I know I've said this before, but I am in the process of putting a mod, you know, I'm in the process of doing an Ichimoku module. I have a few videos shot. I haven't released them yet because I've had a few issues with YouTube. I'm not going to get into that right on here. So I'm trying to figure out like the best way to kind of distribute those videos. But at the same time, I will be honest with you, like when we first started the trading bots, and there was a mass, and there still continues today to be a huge influx of people that come into Discord and Telegram. Luckily, I have an amazing team of admins to help me answer the hundreds of questions I get asked there every single day, right? But when I introduced these modules, it's kind of going to go back to me being the only one who's going to be able to field questions. And when you have 2,800 people in Discord and almost 1,300 people on Telegram, and if I'm the only one that's going to be able to answer these questions, like the point is I want to make sure that when I release these modules, A, that I have time to field the questions, and B, I'm also working on like a frequently asked questions. I'm working on a frequently asked questions thing for Discord to have kind of all of that pre-done so that that can help answer your questions once the videos are released, if that makes sense. Because it's not going to do me any good to release the videos and then wake up and have 700 DMs and, you know, and when people are, you know, whatever it is, 700 DMs and all that stuff, like, and then I'm going to have to, like, I will not be able to go through all that. So I need to I need to work on setting up my Discord, setting up my, just kind of my support system in place first before I release those, if that makes sense. But it is going to happen, okay? And really, like, it's like, I just want to make sure that you guys have the best experience that you can when you're in Discord. And that it's really that simple. Like, I'm not going to do anybody any favors by releasing all this stuff, and then you have questions about it, which is naturally going to happen, and then I like, you don't get them answered. Okay? So, anyway, let's see here. I just got a super chat. Michael, can you show us the selection process to find good candidates for the DCA bots? 2, do you mind sharing settings for leverage bots yet? So I will get to that, but Frank, you're an excellent teacher. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And like, the thing is, like, I want to make sure that you guys have as much information as possible, right? And like, I expect questions to come from all of this. It's just the same with the trading bot videos. I expect there to be a lot of questions. I just want to make sure that we have the support system in place to be able to help answer those questions before I, you know, kind of release the Kraken, and then all of a sudden, you know what's going to happen. But going back to Michael, so my selection process is really, it's really, like, this is one of those things where, like, you might not like the answer, but it's true. Every single bot that I trade, for the most part, so I have bots that I am testing for you guys, and I will tell you video 9. You want to look at video 9? I'll show you what video 9 is. Where is video 9? There it is. So there is video 9. That's what it's going to be, and I'm almost done with it. But it's going to be a composite bots and Gordon bots, because that's been, you know, I've been asked quite a bit about that. And then trading take profit update. So I have quite a bit of actual data that I've been using, quite a bit of actual data for trading take profits. And like, I've actually used these myself. So like, I'm going to kind of give you an update on whether or not I think trading take profits are, you know, do I still not really, like, am I not going to use them going forward, or am I going to convert my bots to use trading take profits? So that is coming up. But it's kind of one of those answers that you might not like. I literally select the alts that I trade because those are the ones that I want to hold. Those are the positions that I want to build, if that makes sense. So whether it's DOT, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Litecoin, which I don't have a Litecoin bot, but I'm just listing off, you know, different projects. Those are the ones that I trade for the most part. Everything that I trade is mostly because I want to continue to accumulate or start building a position in it. So it's really that simple. Like, because my strategy, and I've said this since video 1, is passive, right? Like, I just want to set bots up so that they can run 24/7. I don't care what price does. And I just let the bots do their thing, and it builds profits in crypto over time. Because again, like, you know, from a market perspective, where do I think we are in the market cycle? Are we still bullish? I think so. So that's why I'm fine continuing to take profit in crypto, because I still believe, and this is just my opinion, okay? I still think that the market has a lot of room to the upside to go. So if that continues to be the case, which it most certainly has done since I started using trading bots back in May of last year, right? Why would I switch that around? Okay. But that being said, I like to use those funds that I've allocated towards trading bots in order to continue to build the positions that I actually want. So for instance, like there are a few bots that I'm using for testing purposes that trade other altcoins that I'm not really interested in, but I'm doing it for research purposes for you guys, because you guys have asked me, you know, about, again, it has to do with the composite bots and all that. So you'll see, like, I ran composite bots before when I first started. The reason why I don't use composite bots, which this is another question that gets asked quite a bit, is why don't you just, you know, if you're trading 50 pairs, right, which I am trading 50 pairs, why don't you just set up a composite bot and put all of the pairs that you want to do in there and do it that way? Well, again, my answer is really simple. It's because I like to control every single aspect of the bot if I want to. I don't run, not every base order and safety order is the same dollar amount. So it's not like every single bot I run is either, you know, I don't start at like $10 for the base order, $20 for the safety order. My bot, the money that I have allocated towards each bot varies. It's not all the same. And then another reason is, I've said it before, is because it doesn't have the open new deal ASAP, which I really like to have, because I like my bots to be in the market as often as possible. I don't use, you know, RSI 7, or I don't use, you know, I've used the TradingView signals before just to kind of see how they react. You know, the 1 minute buys, 1 minute strong buys, 5 minute buys, etc. Right? I've used those, but I've found that I just like my bots to be in deals as often as possible. That allows them to continuously be working. And for those of you who are worried about, you know, when you have massive drawbacks though, and, you know, like we had just a short while ago in Bitcoin, we had that really big dip, right? Like, and that wasn't even that big of a dip, to be honest, but that, you know, we had a pretty nice pullback. The thing is, like, if you're scared and you think that there's another setting that's out there that's going to help kind of keep your bots out of trouble, then by all means test them. But for me, I don't think, like, I'm not worried about that. I think in general, again, I've told you, like, in general, macro, like, I think the market is still very much macro bullish. So I'm not panicking about trying to switch my bots around or stop my bots. You know, if they get 20 safety orders deep, I don't care. Like, that's fine. That's how the bots make money. You know, like, I'm fine with that happening. I'm not panicking about it. And I'm not going to turn my bots off or market sell for a loss or anything like that. But that's just me. And not everybody, you know, not everybody is going to be the same. So that, Michael, that was like a freaking probably 10-minute answer to your question. But so do you mind sharing settings for leverage bots yet? I'm scared. I'm kind of scared to show this. But I guess if you're on the video right now and we're literally, you know, I guess the intro took 10 minutes, but so we're 40 minutes deep. There's 171 viewers that I can see. I will show you my leverage bot settings. And I will explain to you why that is, but I'm not going to post this in Discord. So if you're here, then you know. If you're not, then that's too bad. Anyway, so let's go. I'll refresh this. I'm just curious, where are we at? So we have 59 minutes left in the day. You get a glimpse right here of what I'm trading. So here's my profit, $552, total profit, $67,000. I'm almost a 70K profit since I started. Pretty happy about that. But let's find the bots. So I'm not even going to go on and show you. I'll scroll down. You can see what bots I'm trading. And you know, you can see what bots I'm trading. So look, these two are still trying to find a deal. Okay. So here's my baked BUSD bot. AXS BUSD. Oh, another thing, I want to point this out for you guys. Binance is running, if you're trading BUSD pairs on Binance, there is no trading fees, which is a big deal. But so, like, I encourage people to kind of check that out and see if that's something you want to do. Again, BUSD is the same as USDT. It's just Binance's version of their stablecoin. Okay. So if you're trading BUSD pairs and you're using limit orders, very important, limit orders, which means you're a market maker, okay? That means you pay zero fees. Now there are a few instances, and this has been brought up tons of times. We've talked about it for quite a while now, but there are instances where you do have fees, and Binance's excuse, this is just what I've heard. I haven't actually spoke to Binance myself about it, but apparently, you know, if there's from what it sounds like, if there's kind of, if you have an altcoin that's really volatile and it happens to, you know, spike through your price or whatever it is, it could trigger as a market order. I don't know why that is, because to be honest with you, if you're using limit orders and your API is working correctly and like your bot is feeding the data to Binance, like unless there's some kind of lag, which maybe there might be, it should always fill as a limit order. So I'm not sure. Like I'd have to, you know, that's just my 2 cents about that. But it's like kind of few and far in between from what I have seen. So it's not really worth making a big deal about. But overall, the majority of the trades that I've seen are all free, you know, which makes a big difference for your bot. So that is kind of important. But here is so I will start off, honestly, the Ethereum, this one has been like a killer bot. I'll just tell you that. So again, for the 181 viewers that are on here right now, this has been a killer trading bot. So Ethereum USD, so this is over on Bybit. Okay, and another thing, so there's people that have asked me, or that's been asked, I've addressed this several times already, like what happens, like wouldn't you be better off just holding and not using your bots? I will tell you one thing right now, if that's how you feel, there's almost no reason that I can think of, unless you're really scared to like lose your stack, you're scared about volatility or whatever. Having a leveraged bot, and it doesn't even need to be leveraged. I'm just saying, just just trading on Bybit, for example, because you're using Ethereum. You need Ethereum because I trade perpetual. I don't trade USDT. Okay, so like I use Ethereum to either gain or lose Ethereum, right? So I am running this Ethereum USD leverage long, and it's just named leverage long, and so that way I know which bot it. I can easily find it when I'm scrolling through my 50 bots. But you're literally using Ethereum to gain more Ethereum. So you're not sitting out of the market. You're literally using your Ethereum stack to gain more Ethereum. So you're always in. Does that make sense? So even if price drops, you're still holding the same amount of Ethereum as long as you don't get liquidated, okay? But which is kind of why I'm scared to talk about this right now. But you're always in the game. So for those people, I would say this is a really interesting way for you to, because you're holding your Ethereum and your Bitcoin and you're trading using Ethereum or Bitcoin. So if that makes sense, you're not like having what you could have had in Bitcoin in cash or USD, and then you're using that money to trade bots, and then you're trying to figure out what's better for you, right? If you're trading on Bybit using the perpetual swap, ETH USD, you are using Ethereum for your trades. So that's something that I wanted to point out, which, by the way, link in the description of the video. If you would like to try Bybit, I would appreciate it, obviously, if you use my link. But so ETH leverage long, man, this is Michael, this is like all on you. I can't believe I'm sharing this. So anyway, my take profit is 0.5%. So why is it not 1.5, or why is it not 125? Which again, for those of you who have been following me, you've watched all the videos, almost every example that you see, I used 1.5% as my take profit. So I did share this in Telegram and Discord. The reason why I am switching it to 1.25%, it's not that big of a deal. It's slightly less than 1.5. It helps get my bots in and out of deals a little bit quicker, okay? But at the same time, it's not so low where I'm missing potential profits. So if, let's say I shared this in Discord earlier and somebody else commented with the correct answer. But let's say that a bot, one of your trading bots goes down 15 to 20 safety orders, something like that. If you have a take profit percent that is only like 0.5%, you're likely missing out on some money. So you risk all of those funds that you were using to let your bot get 15 to 20 safety orders deep, or even 25 safety orders deep, right? You're risking those funds just to make 0.5%. Like you understand what I'm saying? When in reality, if something goes that deep, when it does eventually, hopefully, snap back, when price kind of bounces back, do you think that it's really going to stop at your 0.5% take profit, or is it going to likely continue to your, you know, 1.5%, 1.25% take profit, whatever it is? The thing is, when you have a take profit that is like 1.25%, you're going to make, your bot is going to make more using the same funds versus if you had only 0.5% take profit. Does that make sense? So I hope that does. I hope that's a little clear. But anyway, with Ethereum though, I'm using 0.5% because if you, I mean, now Ethereum has been really volatile lately. It's been a phenomenal, like it's been a really good bot. But considering Ethereum's price, right, for Ethereum to move 1% is much different than something like Bake moving 1% or Cake or, you know, one of like the smaller priced altcoins, right? Altcoins can move several percent in the span of a day. I mean, so can Ethereum, which it's been doing lately. But overall, if you're looking at things from like a big high term time frame perspective, you generally don't expect something like Ethereum to move 5% each day in either direction or 10% each day in either direction, right? So that's why that is set to 0.5%. Because, and the same with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is, you know, $55,000 right now, whatever. Bitcoin, it takes a lot more for Bitcoin to move, you know, a couple percent a day. And if you have your take profit set to 1.5%, you're going to be stuck in those deals for quite a while, more often than not, especially, which is what happened, but especially when Bitcoin gets boring. And Bitcoin is going to, like, when Bitcoin kind of shuts off the volatility and things go sideways for a while, if your take profit percentage is too high, then you're not going to be getting in and out of deals, and your funds are just going to kind of sit there. Okay. So that's why the take profits are at 0.5. So the base order and the safety order, you can see that it's basically doubled. Okay. It doesn't matter. I'm not like it doesn't matter what amount you use. It's based on what capital you have allocated, right? So I'm not going to tell you, well, use 160 and 330. It's literally going to be dependent on how much funds you want to allocate towards the bot, if that makes sense. So that's whatever you end up allocating yourself. That's it. That's, you know, depends on your specific situation. So the safety order percent is also 0.5%. You'll notice for Bitcoin, it's 0.4%. So there's a slight variance here. And the reason for that, again, is really simple. Like, I don't give Bitcoin as much leeway as I do Ethereum because I don't necessarily expect Bitcoin to drop that far without taking me out of my trade. Okay. So again, this is you can do the math. You can see all of the metrics here. This is literally the exact setup. But that's why there's a slight variance from Bitcoin to Ethereum. So I use 0.5 for my safety orders. And then my safety order volume scale is 1.03. And again, this has to do with my funds from my bot. Because when I set the bot up, so you'll see that, you know, when it gives you the percentage and it tells you, you know, 100%, or if the amount of funds you're allocating is too much for your bot, so you need to dial back your base order, your safety orders or whatever, then you need to, I am shooting for like 95% coverage, just so you know. So when I'm setting up these bots and I look at for my funds, and because I'm comfortable with it, like I'm using about 95% of my funds towards this bot, if that makes sense. Okay. So again, your safety order step scale is still 1. I don't change that. I have seen some others that are using it in different ways, which is totally fine. And then the L is for leverage. So on my Bitcoin and my Ethereum bots, I'm using 5x leverage. Okay. So this is literally my setup right here. And the only thing that's going to be different, and again, you're free to test whatever you want for your leverage bots if that's what you're going to do. But the two things that are absolutely, like, more than likely going to be different is the base order and the safety order. The thing that I'm going to say, which I'm not going to get into right now because this is going to be covered in another video. So that's why I'm kind of giving you the preview for the 183 of you that are here already. You can maybe get a little jump start if you want to, now that you know my settings. But for the base order, safety order, just remember it's directly tied to your capital, like what you want to allocate to those bots. And I really like Bybit. The funny thing is Bybit, not a good time to have issues, because there was an issue with the site earlier. I was trying to log on to manage my trade, and I couldn't because Bybit was down for a little bit. But typically, Bybit is a phenomenal. Bybit's my favorite exchange to use, to be honest with you. Like anything, like for leverage trading, Bybit is it. And I used to trade on BitMEX before they made you KYC, and then everything sucked, and then I had to move off of BitMEX. But Bybit really does a phenomenal job. Their interface is great. You know, I have zero issues with them at all. I'm a big Bybit fan. So that's where any leverage trading that I will do, that's typically where it is. It's over on Bybit. Let's see here. So what's your stance on using percent base order and safety order versus using a defined value? So I don't do that, Dane, simply because I just prefer to set up my bots with defined values, kind of like you mentioned. Like that's how I prefer it. But you could use the percentage. You could definitely use the percentage base order and percentage safety order if that's what you wanted to do. It's just, to me, it's like kind of harder to calculate, and I don't know if that's going to change, every single time, like depending on what your available capital is. Like I honestly haven't played around with that. So you could try it. I just prefer to have defined values so I know about like what capital I'm using, if that makes sense. And then, is there a way we can have a look at your bots at any point in time while you're looking at them? If not, maybe you can add them to subscription. So, I mean, I have a lot of people. I get emails or DMs every single day with somebody who asks to look at my bots. Like they want to literally set up the bots identical to mine. And obviously for like it took me a while to put this together. So I don't really just want to hand it out, if that makes sense. And at the same time though, I told you earlier in the video why I set up the bots the way that I do, why I pick the altcoins that I do. It's very much specific to me, right? It's not like how I pick my bots. I highly doubt it's going to be this exact same somebody else really wants to do, because it's very much like what I want to trade, right? Like, and again, I don't go for performance. So I want to be very clear about that. Like, I don't spend my day trying to like source the most volatile altcoins that are out there. I don't like scroll through charts and be like, oh man, like this looks like it's going to have a massive spike up, I'm going to start a trading bot. I don't do that. I literally am using trading bots for stuff that I actually want to accrue. So it's different. I don't care if my bots have a $200 day. And by the way, take a snapshot, because I'm going to turn the page off, or not turn the page off, but I'm going to move off of it. So, or you can go back, to the video. But so like I have a day like today, right? $553. Like, I don't care if, I have $100 day, or if I have an $800 day. Obviously I'd rather, which I had quite a few $700-$800 days last week, but it's more about what I'm trading versus the amount I'm making, if that makes sense, which is kind of counterintuitive probably to why wouldn't you want to make the most money you can? And that answer, by the way, I hope people are really paying attention, because I'm literally like sharing everything I can. And this is all questions. These are really good questions, by the way, like, which is why I want to take time to answer them, because it gets asked over and over and over and over and over again, right? Which I just lost my train of thought. But again, I guess I'm more concerned about what I'm trading versus how much I'm making. Oh, and where I was going with this was trading bots. It's a very small part of what I do. It is a small part of my portfolio. I don't care what my bots are doing day to day, which is why I can be very much passive with them. I don't care if they're 20 safety orders deep. It doesn't bother me at all. Okay? Like, I don't care one bit. Like, but if this was like a big source of my income, or if I, really had to rely on what my bots were doing day to day, obviously my strategy would change. Then I would be very much hands-on, which is fine. I would be looking at charts. I would be looking at, like trying to make sure that my bots are performing as best as they can. But that's why I very much, my method is very much built. And the same in video 1, when I shared that, It was literally sharing my experience, right? It wasn't about trying to give you guys the best possible settings that are in 3 commas. It was just literally sharing with people my experience and kind of what I've done, right? And how I did it. Like, so that was the important part, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect for everybody else. Okay. Let's see. Man, 180 viewers still. Clear as a whistle. Thanks. Awesome. Oh, answered that. You probably hear my daughter in the background, by the way. So Trade Alt, how did you set up your start signals for your leverage bots? They're the same. It's open new deal ASAP. I don't have start signals for those. So I just let them rip. I don't care. Same. I think that's what Crypto Mute was going. What about deal conditions? Yeah, I just let it go. Same as everybody else. I'm not sure, but I think you need to check the post only option in Bybit. I don't know if you're talking, maybe Michael's talking to somebody else. I'm not sure, but I have mine set as limit orders. So, you know, it's been working really well so far. I haven't had any problems with that. And again, it's like an API thing. Like, I don't think just because if you go into Bybit, if you check the post only, I don't think it's going to matter. You know what I mean? So unless, let me see. Do you genuinely want to hold all 40 of the coins that you trade? Like, it's, yes, you know, like this is what like I angle my bots towards, to build positions in those, because those are like those are the ones that I've kind of identified as stuff that I want to be in, right? And some of the stuff, I will tell you, a lot of the bigger cap, I already have, you know, decent positions in those. This is just kind of like topping it off for me, if that makes sense. And there are some that I don't have as big of a position as maybe I would like, but I also would rather keep my capital to trade other things or whatever, you know. Like, so bots are a really easy way to kind of slowly add bits and pieces of the altcoins that I want to build in that portfolio, and do it, you know, with, you know, I won't say less risk, but, you know, just it's more passively, if that makes sense. Rashid, is it better to use USDT or USD if in the US? It literally doesn't matter. It literally, I mean, it's basically your preference about what you're trading, I guess. It depends what exchange you're using. If you're using Binance US, I use USD, period, which I do use Binance US. But if I'm trading on a different exchange that may or may not be, you know, it may or may not be USA friendly, then USDT is probably the way to go. But, you know, if I'm trading on Binance US, definitely USD. Let's see here. Thank you so much for this chat. Absolutely. And like, again, like, I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody for being here. Obviously, like, you're the reason why I do this. And, you know, it's just a lot of fun for me to do this. I can't believe, by the way, I have like, I don't even know. Will it tell me how many people like, or how many subscribers I have? It's like 6,700 or 6,600 or something like that. I'm just like blown away that even that many people like want to listen to me speak, to be honest with you. So believe me, it is just as cool for me, and I love, like, I enjoy doing this. So Dane, for those that are curious about percentage base order, I have a paper trade running as of yesterday. We'll post weekly results after a month and write up a review and post in Discord. Nice. So that's, you know, and I will tell you what, you go out there and find a better community than what we've built over in Trade Alt's Discord or Telegram. I like, the admins are phenomenal. They're incredibly helpful. And not only that, but the community is amazing. I literally am going through chat and I literally see so many people just helping other people. Somebody asks a question and like other community members jump in and say, try this or look at this. Like, I will tell you, we have one of the most active communities that I've seen. And I will tell you again, for like the admins there, I will put money up against a lot of other groups out there, communities out there. I love my admins. They do a phenomenal job. They're incredibly helpful. And the thing about this, the last part, which I think is the most important, is we do this for free. So I know there's paid groups out there that get paid to, you know, paid to do this stuff or, you know, whatever it is. Like these, like not only myself, But my admins, the community, like no one gets paid to do that. But yet they make it like they take time out of their day. Like and one person, for those of you in Discord, you know Ribsy, really, you know, I'm sure you've seen Ribsy posting left and right. He doesn't need to do that, but he does because like he's awesome and he cares a lot about the community and he takes time to help people. But like it's that kind of like that's what sets our Discord apart and our Telegram community apart. Like it's a really awesome community. I'm really proud to like have started that, you know, so I'm happy to do this stuff. But again, I like to shout out, it's not only my admins, but it's you guys. Like you guys are awesome. Like, and you make this fun. So any pointers as to what week? Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I go. So you're taking like trade outs. Thoughts on Elon Musk claiming to be the Doge father? Dude, that dude, he needs to stay off Twitter. Honestly, Elon is like that dude. He really can move the market. You know what I mean? Which unless he wants to come, Elon, if you're listening by some slim chance, come over to find me on Twitter. Give me a heads up before you're gonna post something so I can tell my community. But no, seriously, like that dude is out of control. He literally makes like he can make things move by himself. It's insane. Trading his pumps, his Bitcoin pumps, was really difficult, honestly. I won't say it was difficult, but it messes the charts up. It messes the levels up, I swear. Like when you have that, I don't remember when it was probably a couple months ago. I think it was before Tesla announced they bought Bitcoin. But there was like when the rumors were circulating and Elon, like, and you know, it comes out or he says something about Bitcoin, you have these crazy spikes up that get sold off heavily. Like that was a little challenging. I'm not gonna lie. A little challenging. So liquid benchmarking. I'm not sure if somebody asked this question before, but what has been the maximum safety orders you have been in, your bots, and how many of your bots were due? So I think the deepest was 28 or 29 and out of 30. And it definitely, you know, they're incredibly rare. I can count on one hand how many bots I've had that have ran past 25. I think like you get to like 27 plus, it's really, really rare, but it does happen. And I think like a good thing to point out, a good thing to remind everybody, and this is just for me again, this is like my kind of like how I treat my bots. I don't do anything different. I don't care what, you know, it runs deep, it runs deep. Then thing, you know, has a huge drop, it has a huge drop. And if I have to wait a week, 2 weeks, which I've shown all of the recent bots that have taken, you know, 10 days to close or 14 days to close, I've posted those in Discord and said, see, like it happens. I think I posted one the other day. I said shit happens because it's true. Like, you know, especially like when you're running bots long enough and you're not in and out of your bots, if you're not like micromanaging every single aspect of it, like you're gonna have bots that run deep, and it's a part of using trading bots. It's a part of using the DCA strategy. It's a part of not having a stop loss. So that being said, for those of you out there who are questioning or wondering about stop losses and why I don't use stop losses, that's a perfect question. That's a perfect example why I don't use stop losses, because where would you put it? That's what I want to, that's my turnaround question is, where would you put a stop loss? So using a DCA strategy, the purpose is to DCA. It's not to DCA for a little bit and then put a stop loss, right? That's like the place where I would use a stop loss is if you're using custom signals, if you're using indicators on TradingView, right? If you're using moving average crosses, like I used in my very simple example. If you're using any sort of indicator on TradingView, then yes, you probably might want to incorporate a stop loss into your strategy. But when you're using DCA or dollar cost averaging, the way that I do, and I'm running, you know, you're letting, if you have like a 60% window to the downside, where's your stop going to be? You know what I mean? Like you're past the point, and this is my opinion, but you're past the point of having like a stop loss. So that's why that's kind of a very, very long-winded answer to that question. I think I answered all of those. what's the worst dip you have seen? I'll tell you that from a percentage wise, the dip that we just came out of when Bitcoin went down, I think for 12 days, that was a little rough on bots. And I'll be honest, like I got close. I think my bots, I want to say that my trading capital, which I'm very, like I am overextended. Like I don't cover all of my bots, but my capital definitely like got tested. It got pretty tested there. So that's, you know, that is possible. So you want to look at Ethereum? We'll take a look at Ethereum. I know I've been talking about bots for quite a while now. Oh, somebody just super chatted me. Ryan Batista. Nice. Thank you very much. Hey, when you get a chance, can you take a look at Rose and Nulls? So is that the USDT pair? I'm guessing. I don't know. What's Rose? I don't know if I've heard. I don't think I've heard of Rose, which is not surprising considering how busy I've been lately, but I know Nulls. We can take a look at that. I will not forget. Just let me take a quick look at what Ethereum is doing. Oh my goodness. So this is the same channel again. It's probably boring of me talking about this channel, but you see it's still very much relevant. I moved to the downside, to the middle, basically tested your Kijun here. And like from an Ichimoku standpoint, you don't need to be a genius again to know that this is incredibly bullish. So I'll tell you that there's a couple of things going on with Ethereum right now. Is that obviously, so from an Ichimoku perspective, okay, let me delete all this other stuff. Let me just hide everything because this is kind of detracting. I don't want to like detract from what I'm saying. This isn't, well, I mean, yeah, this was a nice, I remember talking about that. But, and I will, Ryan, I promise I will do yours right after this, but I saw ETH. I just want to kind of get over ETH real quick. But if you look at, so I'm going to hide this channel, but again, this channel has been just money. It's been great. Just from an Ichimoku perspective, you look at the slope, and this is what we call angulation, okay? But you see how the slope or the angulation of your Tenkan or Kijun are very much angled to the upside. And look at your cloud, you see it's the same thing. You broke your R3 week. Is this weekly or monthly? Monthly. Oh, wow. Okay, so you broke your R3 monthly pivot, which we're going to get a new set of pivots here in 3 or 4 days now. Well, it's going to be 4 days. Technically 3, I guess. This day's almost over. But you broke your R3 pivot. So if you look, you got a spike up, came back down to your Tenkan. I'm sorry, your Kijun here. This is your daily Kijun. You go up, R3 monthly pivot, big time resistance, and then before you kind of get pushed off of that. This is a pretty big move. This in itself, that's a 20% move, which is a lot for Ethereum. I mean, that's a lot for anything, honestly, but like that's a big, and again, the leverage bots, look at this. So this is the environment when you're running leverage bots. Look at this. This is what you want to see. You know what I mean? You have up, down, like this is incredible volatility. Wow, I got another super chat. Thanks for sharing this with us. I appreciate you very much. Thank you. And I'm happy to do it. I love to do it. But thank you so much for the super chat. Vaz, I appreciate. But again, your R3 monthly pivot, very important level. Yesterday, you got your close above. And now you're using your R3 monthly pivot as basically support. This is another thing. And it's just like I mentioned earlier. I think it was with Bake. But when you're using your monthly pivots or any pivots, right? This helps you identify resistances that are above you where price hasn't touched yet. So this helps give you a guide to where there might be other areas of possible, and you can use this, and if you look kind of over to the left here, you can see another tool that I use, which is the Fibonacci Extensions, which I will be covering in the future. But you can use these two things together a lot of times to come up with potential resistances as things are still breaking out. And like Ethereum, again, blue sky breakout, we're back, new all-time highs. What's the next pivot? Just curious. And again, we have a new monthly pivot coming up in a few days, but look at that, $3,000. Now, what do I like about that? It's simply a whole number, right? $3,000 psychological resistance level. but I really like that your monthly pivot is lining up right with that. So that's interesting. Okay. So do I think $3,000 is likely to be a pretty important resistance for Ethereum? Just based on the fact that it being a whole round $3,000 number, I would expect, a decent amount of selling there, to be honest with you. But having the pivot line up right there is, and like, was it the 2.272 lining up kind of right in this general area? It was this 3,036. So basically, and this is kind of how you'll see some of my zones get drawn. I'll do something like this. And this is where you'll see the red boxes come in. So this highlights for you a potential zone of resistance that comes up. And I'm just curious about this. I see one pull. So your 1-to-1 of this pull, right, which is your low to your high R3 monthly pivot resistance back down to, you got a 20% move to the downside. Your 1.272 lines up right with this. So you see that? So your 1-to-1 is at 2807. So maybe we could see a little bit of resistance here at 2800. That wouldn't surprise me too much. But again, you have a bit more confluence for this region here to be a potential resistance around $3,000. So that's a level to watch for Ethereum. As far as buying Ethereum, because I think that was it, I think you honestly missed it. I mean, like, so again, from an Ichimoku perspective, right, this is your opportunity. And the thing is, I feel like I say this almost every day now. People get insanely bullish at the highs. People were very bullish right here, right? 2,500. Oh my goodness, Ethereum's going to the moon. And then what happened? Oh my goodness, all the way back down here. Then people are like, oh, Ethereum, why'd you do this to me? Oh my goodness, right? The thing is, this is the opportunity. Like when you have the pullbacks and you get back to equilibrium here, like price is coming back into a level like this, which this is a daily level right here. This is your opportunity to get in. And obviously, like, oh yeah, it's easy to say now, but it's true. Like if you're going to take a shot, this is when you take a shot. You don't take a shot up here or, even right here. Does Ethereum look bullish right now? Hell yes, it looks bullish. But if you're buying here, like, where's your stop? Like where, you know what I'm saying? Like the risk reward isn't as clearly defined up here as it is when you're buying a retracement. Or because you have structure to help you, right? I'll tell you right now, like this level, your Kijun, like there's a little pocket here, and like maybe there's some other, I don't know. I'd have to go and do an analysis on that, but likely this could have, buying a retracement like this almost always gives you a better like risk reward to take the trade than buying at the highs, if that makes sense. Like the same thing kind of with here. Like yes, we're breaking out. Yes, Ethereum looks very much bullish, but we have seen over and over, in this trend, as Ethereum makes new all-time highs, it hasn't really just pushed off and left the previous levels in the dust. Kind of like Bitcoin did when Bitcoin broke 20K, right? Like that was probably one of my best trades I've taken, to be honest with you, was the Bitcoin 20K, like when having the market buy set in just slightly above it. Like Ethereum hasn't replicated what Bitcoin has done, right? Like Ethereum continues to fall back into older levels. It doesn't just push off and leave these levels behind, and it hasn't done it yet. Not saying it won't, but again, it's better to buy a retracement, in my opinion, than to buy a breakout like this, because where's your stop? Like where are you going to be wrong on this trade? And I'm sure I could come down to lower time frames and find an area, but I would prefer to buy like retracements, right? So like I prefer to buy, like right here, you have Kijun retest. Like when you have a trend like this, it's like it gives you a better risk reward to buy those areas, because something like here, you can see like your invalidation. If you start closing candles inside a cloud, then you're wrong. Like then, you know what I'm saying? So like that's just a little bit of insight there. But now I do want to go back to this. So Rose, I don't know what Rose is. Is that traded? Like where's Rose traded? Oh, it is on Binance. Let's take a look. I've never looked at this chart before. So this is going to be new. Oh, it's pretty new. That's why. It's pretty new. I will try to do like a quick. This is going to be not a little harder, but it's because I haven't actually charted. Wow, all the way down. So this is a pretty important level. Point of control is way the hell down here. And that's all I'm going to highlight for right now. I doubt. Well, this, I'm just going to highlight this as a key level, but this is your monthly open. That's it. Let's see, this is a pretty big weekly level. You have another kind of important level here that's forming. This is where your weekly open is, which is right where your macro value area high is, which if you look, it's kind of funny, right? Where does price come back? So price makes a high here, comes back down to your macro value area high and has a bounce so far. There's not really like a whole lot to look at. This is an old daily level. You can see when you came back down to your daily level, you got a bounce, and then while you actually wicked right through down to your macro value area high, price closed above, and then you kind of came back and formally tested your value area high. Well, let's see. It's kind of the next thing that I like to do. It looks like you're going to cross here, which, I mean, again, this is so new, to be honest with you. Let me try to go down to like a 12 hour. So 12 hours bearish. So I'll show you, this is actually a good example of a chart that is bearish, because we don't talk about that enough, honestly, in crypto these days. Like, if you're around in 2018, 2019, there was a whole lot of charts that looked really bad. That was easy to find a bearish chart. Now it's like all everybody wants to talk about is up, 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 right? But on a 12-hour chart, from an Ichimoku perspective, this is a bearish chart. You have your bearish TK cross up here. Your cloud flipped bearish right here, so you can see how it twisted. So this is called a Kumo twist, and it flipped bearish. And your Chiku span is actually inside of cloud, but it is below price. So this is full on kind of bearish, okay? But looking at this from, the thing is, you're kind of popping above your Tenkin here. So I wouldn't be surprised. I do think it could, 16 back up to kind of 18 cents, something like that. It wouldn't surprise me to kind of continue have a bit of a bounce here. But really, again, this is so new. I don't even know what Rose does. Not that it matters, but from a chart perspective, like, your daily level is pretty important. As far as the support below your macro value area high is incredibly important. So if you're looking at taking a trade off of Rose USDT, okay, I will say, in my opinion, obviously, like, I'd be more prone to take a long than I would take a short. And generally, again, you look at the overall market, I would say that we're still bullish, okay? On Bitcoin, higher time frame, maybe a little bit more neutral than I was last week, 2 weeks ago. But that being said, the invalidation here is really simple for me. If you lose this macro value area high, I think you go down quite a bit further. So this is a very important support for me. This daily level, I'd say, is less important, but still an important support. So like, this is something to keep in mind. These are your two levels to the downside that I would pay very close attention to. More importantly, this macro value area high. If this is lost, I think you could come in for a bit more pain. To the upside, it's really like, I do think you can continue up to 16 and a half, set, back up to this key level, something like that. Wouldn't surprise me to back test that. But that's, this isn't, from what I'm seeing right here on the chart, there really isn't like a trade that screams at me like, do something. Okay. So that's Rose. Not super helpful, but that's, at least I'm able to, kind of give you some levels to watch, but I don't see anything here that screams, please buy me or sell me or whatever. So let's take a quick look at Knowles. Oh, wow. Look at this spike. Oh my goodness. Anybody running trading bots on this, by the way? This is painful. This could be 61% move down. Let me kind of scroll down here. Man, 61% move to the downside. That's pretty brutal. But you're back inside cloud. I'm going to turn this off. I think Nulls has been around though, right? Yeah, this has been around. Okay. Yeah, that's a good reminder. I actually need to take a sip of water here. I've been like talking nonstop. Give me a second. All right. Let's get back at it. And for those of you who are really interested in technical analysis, it's kind of giving you a little bit of insight to how I start my charts. I really want to come up with my levels first before I start kind of really getting into it. And this is like super quick because I'm on stream, obviously. Like I'm trying to do this really quickly. This is a pretty, I mean, you're really close. So it says key level, something to watch. This is like your monthly open here. Wow, look at that. Here's an old weekly here. Yeah, look at that, right through this this old weekly. And then your daily. I do like to come back and like you'll see these you'll see this get respected really well. Actually, I've seen quite a few examples of these other altcoins that have made all-time highs this year. A lot of these old levels, when it first started trading, it gets respected like pretty well. I'm actually, you know, not that I'm surprised about it, but you'll see. So like here's an old daily level, right? Makes a daily level. 2 days later, you get a perfect back test of this level before a really big move to the downside, right? So it's kind of like when you have two levels, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to have both of them on there, but I do just because I like, you know, this one again, they're both respected pretty well. So I'll leave that on. And these are really old levels. 2018 are like really old levels. Fast forward to both of them, key level, macro value area high. So it's a kind of another, you know, you see this consolidation that we had here at macro value area high before you got your push up. You're basically just back testing this old, you know, this short range. This must have been like a 2-week range, something like that. If anything, you know, this key level, which I believe was the monthly open, we get a new monthly in a few days. We'll kind of have to see how this closes. But I honestly, this was such a, what is this, 60? This was such a like steep move to the downside. I wouldn't be shocked if we kind of come up and if we kind of move higher here. I don't mean like make another high. I'm just saying I think we kind of pop back up. Let me do. This is a really, I want to say extended move, but this is a pretty extended move. Golden pocket. 382, maybe back to like $1.25. You know, throw on Ichimoku. Where is it? I mean, yeah, it's your Kijin's pretty close to that. This is a pretty important level though, this key level, which is your monthly open. We'll kind of have to see how the month closes, but I think that I do think that it pops back up, maybe even back to like 140. But this is, I mean, this is a pretty big move down, but I'd be surprised if right here, like we just continue lower. If there, now again, nulls, I don't know if there was some kind of news. Maybe you can share in the chat if there was some that came out, but like, again, I wouldn't expect kind of a pop back up to the upside, even if this is going to eventually retrace back down, which I will tell you right now, I don't think like it's the same thing coming out of 2018, right? Like a lot of altcoins got absolutely destroyed in 2018 after having a really good 2017. There's going to be a point again where you're going to see like at the end of this cycle, whenever it is, you're not, in my opinion, you're probably not going to want to be in a lot of these altcoins. I would just tell you that. Like, I expect a lot of pain and hurt, just like 2018 was. Whenever the end of the cycle happens to be. And like, but in my opinion, I don't think it's for a while, but still, you know, just be real careful, because you're gonna like you're gonna see a lot more of this in the future, obviously. But yeah, again with nulls, these are your levels that I kind of be eyeing, paying attention to. There's just, you know, really big, you know, the thing is you had a really nice move to the upside too. So having a bit of a retracement, you know, you have your cloud support down here a bit further around 75, you know, and like, again, the cloud's rising over time as well. If you start to get below the cloud, that's when you get more problems. So I would say I do think that there's a pop. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing, you know, kind of gets a bit of continues this little relief rally that it has. But if you're looking at things from an Ichimoku perspective, it's really losing this cloud. You start seeing candles close on the opposite end, then it's a little uglier, in my opinion. Noah, what's that blue and yellow graph called? So that's an Ichimoku indicator. Oh, yep, Kid Trailer. There you go. Hey, Kid Trailer, what's up? There he is. There's Jim Leahy himself. Why can't I? See, this is what I don't like. I need to make you an admin, but it's not letting me. Hold on. Ah, here we go. There you go. Moderator. So Derek asked, do you use the paid version of TradingView? Yes, I have the premium plan. And the reason is simple. So like, really kind of the differences is how many indicators that you want. Now, I keep quite a few indicators open, you know. Do I use all of them? No, it's just like, I just like to have things to check for reference. So like, I'll check them for confluences maybe. Like there's some that I'll look at every now and then. But really the main reason why I got the premium version of TradingView is simply for the alerts. Because with the premium version, you get 400 custom alerts that will set, you know, that's how you can connect your alerts to your trading bots. Okay. But for me, I just use the alerts to alert me to, you know, when, if I'm looking at a certain altcoin or if I'm looking at Bitcoin, I'll set an alert just to kind of, you know, give me a heads up that, hey, something's happening. Like you've seen some alerts pop up on my screen. But that's the main reason why I have the premium version, is really because you get 400 alerts. And some of the, and you know, the lesser tiers don't have as many alerts, and like I don't like to be limited, I guess you could say. But AC, if altcoins are gonna fall eventually, should you just be running bots on Bitcoin instead? That's, you know, that's kind of one of those things that it's up to you. I do want to take a look at this because I haven't looked at this in a little bit. Here's your dominance. Let me take a sip of water. For those of you who've been around, you know my dominance charts. Which, by the way, I'm going to give you another nugget of information. If you're still here an hour, 40 minutes into this live stream, I'm going to give you another feature update to a video that has been asked like over and over again. What are you going to do to your bots? What adjustments are you going to make when the market eventually tops? Right? That's a question so many people have asked me. The reason why I haven't given a definitive answer on that yet is because honestly, we're nowhere near, in my opinion, we're nowhere near that happening. Like, that's just my opinion, and I'll show you. From a dominance perspective, like, so altcoins in general are doing really well, right? So I actually haven't looked at this chart this week, so this is a really nice opportunity for me to do an update. We lost this quarterly level, and for me, the next important level is really this yearly. Now, I swear there's other, no, maybe not. Maybe there was these ones to the upside. Either way, losing 53, and if you look at this chart from an Ichimoku perspective, it's starting to flip bearish. This looks bearish. The angulation here is really angled to the downside. You don't have to be super smart to know that, you know, this move from the top to the bottom is really bearish, right? So you had kind of and I'll just go over this very quickly. But basically, this is another reason why I love Fibonacci. So Fibonacci, from when we had this cascading effect back here in 2017, A lot of alts did really well, all the way to your bottom here. So remember this, right? Here's your bottom, 2018, right? 20K Bitcoin, blow off top. This is also when altcoins, when the Bitcoin dominance was at its lowest. So that was when things, you know, the market kind of topped out, right? And what happened since then? You had 2 years of pain for altcoins. This is pain for altcoins, right? So when Bitcoin dominance is moving up, that means that Bitcoin is outperforming altcoins, okay? Sucking up the market cap, like dominating the market, okay? Pain and suffering. You look at a lot of altcoin charts in 2018, hideous. They're awful. They look terrible. So you look at this price action, which we've come, you know, you came back up to your golden pocket area here. Bit of relief for alts. Another spike up here at the end of 2020, right into the 618. And it has literally been all season. So for those people asking, when does alt season start? I don't know where you've been, because it's literally been alt season since the beginning of this year. Really, like, this is like, alts have phenomenally done well. Okay. And from what I'm looking at here, you took out this low, which the last update that I gave, price was sitting kind of right around this quarterly level. And we were like kind of messing around, kind of like playing right at this level. So this was a really important support. That's been lost. You took out this low over here back in April of 2019. This is my next really important area for Bitcoin dominance. So if, you know, I say price because this is how I speak, but if price comes back down to this yearly SR level here around 43, you look at where your lows are, right? Sure, and like it might continue lower. Maybe we even retest some of these other lower levels here. All that this is going to tell me, okay, so I'm just curious. Does anything else line up? And also I'm pulling a macro fib retracement from your 2018 lows, and I'm talking about Bitcoin dominance, to your 2020 high, right? It's interesting. So this is something. So you're sitting right at your golden pocket right now. So maybe we get a little bit, you know, we'll have to see. So far, no reaction, right? Well, that's not true. If you look at last week, you actually did get a bounce right off your 618. You see that? It's might be kind of hard to see, but you did. That wick, that was a little bit of a reaction there. But this is kind of like a zone of importance, okay? If this is lost, your 786 lines up right with this yearly SR level. I think this is a massive level. This is a very important level, okay? I wouldn't be surprised one bit at all, if we get, you know, if Bitcoin dominance drops down to this 43 yearly SR level, the macro 786, it wouldn't surprise me if this ends up being a really critical part for Bitcoin and altcoins. So it wouldn't surprise me if we put in a really sizable bounce from here. If this is lost, then you're looking at previous lows. So this previous low right at your 886, and you know, again, the lower things go, technically, like the better altcoins are doing, right? The better the better altcoins are doing. So as far as your bots are going, especially since, and I've been running bots since what? May. So like this piece of price action right here that I'm circling. So since the beginning of the year, trading bots have been phenomenal. They've done it, like they've done incredibly well, right? Made a good amount of money like off of the trading bots, very well trading alts. But when you get to these lower levels, so kind of, again, I just wanted to kind of set you up for this point of what I'm about to say. When you get down to these lower levels, then I start to get very cautious looking for alts to continue to outperform Bitcoin, if that makes sense. I think that like if you get down back to these kind of all-time lows, this yearly SR level, and you start dipping into where, you know, Bitcoin dominance bottomed out back in the 2018 blow off top for Bitcoin, that starts to be like an area of caution where I would say alts, you know, it would start to make me think that altcoins maybe don't have much left in the tank and that it might be time to make adjustments. So back for that long explanation that I just did, when is it time to make the switch for your bots? Like, when am I going to consider maybe short bots? When am I going to consider changing my settings if I still want to trade alts? When am I going to consider selling my altcoin bags? You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you that when we get to this yearly level at 43, I am selling all of my altcoins. No. But what I will say is that it's time for me, and I'm just not everybody else, but for myself, I will start to get a bit cautious about expecting altcoins to continue to outperform Bitcoin, if that makes sense. So I hope that made a little sense there, but I'm not rushing to make that video about when I'm going to switch my bots for the bear market. That's coming up, because honestly, I don't think we're in a bear market. I don't think we're close to really having a bear market. That's my honest opinion. But I think that we're kind of in a time market wise where it's okay to be a bit more neutral, you know, because I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up kind of going into a longer consolidation, which again, I think also helps altcoins. But I don't think the top's in for Bitcoin. That's just my opinion. I do think that we're going to see higher prices on Bitcoin. I do think that we're going to take out 65K. It just might not be for a little while. It might take a few months. Honestly, it could. And I don't mind it at all. You know, I love, you know, I'm happy to trade Bitcoin however it comes. But if it happens to trade, you know, it starts trading tighter ranges and stuff, I'm happy to do it. Like, it doesn't bother me at all. So hopefully that was a very long question to your answer, or answer to your question. So do you use paid indicators like Market Cipher? No, I don't. And again, it's nothing, I'm gonna take another sip. It's not that it's nothing against Market Cipher. I've had friends ask me about it. I just don't use it. It's not saying it doesn't work or that it's not something that, you know, don't use it because, you know, whatever. I don't use it. Is trade out to your Randy Bobandy? Oh, that's amazing. By the way, I am a massive Trailer Park Boys fan. I've watched the entire series, like, I think 4 or 5 times now. Massive Trailer Park Boys fan. So if you want to, like, make me laugh, just post some Trailer Park Boys gifs and hangout room or something. Seriously, it's my favorite. Like, I love it. And when Kid Trailer came into Discord, his profile picture is Jim Leahy. So, like, for those of you who watch Trailer Park Boys, you'll know. But that's, you know, Kid Trailer, he's pretty awesome. R Martin 187, 3 commas. Why would my API see my alerts right here? By the way, long ZRX. Oh, it's daily close. That's why. So you're gonna see all these alerts start to come through. Why would my API connect and then become invalid after a short time? It happens every time, and it won't let the DCA bot trade. I don't know. I don't have any issues with my API. I know that Binance has announced that, like, they've done some changes to their APIs or something like that. I have seen that. But I haven't had any issues with mine. So if you do, it's probably a good idea to either you can try to delete your APIs and reconnect them, or maybe, like, it could be a good idea to reach out to support, honestly, like, because I don't have a problem. Or if there's somebody else in Discord, they might have had the same issue. Maybe they know a fix. Oh, Ribsy, my man. Hold on here. Oh, here I gotta go. Hold on a second. Bubbles, yeah. I gotta find this really, really fast. This is Ribsy. Ribsy's here. What is up? There, now you're mod. Let's see here. All right, let's go. Final questions. And I'm almost 2 hours deep in this. I am gonna start to wrap it up here in a second. But really, again, like, the purpose of this, like, you know, we looked at a few charts. But really the purpose was I wanted to answer questions about trading bots. Like, I just wanted to this kind of be like an open question. You know, you fire the questions, I answer them for you. But yeah, so again, with the TradingView here, you see all these alerts that are starting to fire. So these are signals that are telling me to take a look at these charts. And it doesn't mean that, like, it doesn't mean I'm buying this, but it's just an alert saying, hey, look at this because it's met your parameters that you've set. I wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't have the premium version of TradingView. So that's to kind of clarify that question. Steve French, the mountain lion. Okay. Let's see here. So I touched on this earlier. Like, is it better to trade in USDT or Bitcoin or ETH pairs? Well, I've said this quite a few times. And like, I really, you know, if you trade in USD pairs, you're generally going to follow the direction of the market. So for me, it's easier. It's just easier to analyze. It's easier to kind of expect what I think a certain altcoin is going to do versus USD, because I just have to look at Bitcoin, and that's really going to give me an inkling of what could happen, right? Obviously, not every single one directly ties to Bitcoin's price movement, but in general, I can look at the Bitcoin chart and tell you like how altcoins are doing. I can look at Ethereum, which Ethereum has been obviously doing really well. And Ethereum, you know, being like the king of the altcoin market, essentially, very much, you know, if Ethereum is healthy, alts are healthy. If Ethereum looks like hell, altcoins likely aren't doing that well either. But like, so when you're trading against USD or USDT, you can really just look at Ethereum and Bitcoin, and that'll give you a pretty good snapshot. Okay. If you're trading against Bitcoin, you're kind of throwing a wrench into things a little bit, in my opinion. Now, since the beginning of the year, if you're trading alts versus Bitcoin, again, you're probably doing really well. Like, this is, if you're going to do it, like, this is probably the time to do it. But for me, I'm not looking, now that's not true. I mean, I do work, you know, I do manually trade, you know, I trade Bitcoin all the time. Not as much these days because I've been really busy with Discord and Telegram and YouTube and my family. Weather's been really killer here. I have a lot of family flying to visit me recently. So I've taken, you know, I haven't been as active as I normally am. But anyway, like, I do focus on, you know, building my Bitcoin and Ethereum. You know, as far as my holdings go, I trade a lot. You know, I do trade to accumulate Bitcoin and Ethereum. But alts versus Bitcoin, this is pretty what, like, this is kind of what you want to see, right? Like, if you're going to trade Bitcoin pairing. The thing I'm going to tell you, though, is that it's not always going to be this easy. And if you go back, so like, imagine this, right? What if you had altcoin versus Bitcoin bots in 2018 where you probably got absolutely destroyed, honestly? Like, you probably didn't do very well. And like, the thing is, I know a lot of my community that is running bots don't necessarily like, they don't necessarily like understand technical analysis. And this isn't everybody, obviously, but I'd say a fair amount. And like, when you're trading against Bitcoin, or you're trading against Ethereum, you're kind of throwing a wrench into things, making it a little bit harder. Like, for me, I wouldn't trade Bitcoin pairings unless I'm actively managing my bots, if that makes sense. And for me, that's not what I want to do, right? I'm happy to actively manage my trades that I take. If I'm scalping, if I'm taking swing trades, whatever it is, right? I'm happy to manage those trades. And honestly, like, they're need to be managed, okay? But like, from a bot perspective, with trading bots specifically, I prefer to take the easiest route possible, which is why I choose USD. That's just my opinion. Let's see here. Nobody's cooler than Cyrus. I got work to do. Oh my God, this is amazing. Okay, well, I think I don't see any more questions. So if somebody has another question. Oh, so Guy at TradeOut's excited for ETH 2.0 coming out. I mean, yes, like, if that helps with, you know, I know I kind of looked into EIP 1559 a little bit, and like how it's supposed to affect your trading fees, or lower the gas that's needed a bit. And you know, if Ethereum becomes deflationary, obviously, like, that could tremendously help Ethereum, at least like slow the amount of ETH that's minted, right? You know, again, I'm like very much technical analysis, not fundamental analysis, but I do pay attention to some of those things, especially stuff that I'm like pretty heavily invested in. I think it could definitely be helpful. But we'll kind of have to see how that plays out, you know? Like, I mean, the thing is, Ethereum is the king. I don't care what anybody says. Like, there's obviously projects that are doing their, you know, they're trying to challenge what Ethereum is doing. But at the end of the day, like Bitcoin, it's the same thing with Bitcoin. It's really about like, it's about where the money goes, though, you know? It's like, you can feel a certain way about a project, but at the end of the day, like, it's really like what the market wants to buy that makes that project worth anything, if that makes sense. It's like the technology almost comes second in a weird way, you know? Because I'm sure like there's better things in Ethereum. Like, I know Solana, you know, I know that like as far as transactions are supposedly faster, whatnot. Like, there are things that are out there that I think are trying to be better, but at the end of the day, like, it's what it's what the people want to buy. It's where the money's flowing. Like that's where you got to kind of pay attention to, in my opinion. So any final questions before I wrap it up? It's been 2 hours, but it's been a lot of fun. It's been a fun 2 hours. Oh, which by the way, so Michael, really good question. And I forgot to say this, but you're correct. On Bybit, when you use limit orders, you do get paid funding. I mean, I'm sorry, not funding, but you get paid. Well, that, oh my goodness, that's a whole nother thing I didn't even talk about, which is funding. So like if you're trading on Bybit, you're using, you know, if you're setting up leverage bots, one thing that you have to understand, which I'm not going to go into right now, but you have to understand funding, because if you're trading long and the funding is positive, you're going to have to pay funding every 8 hours. If you're running a short bot and funding is positive, then you're getting paid money every 8 hours just for being in that short position. So funding is really important, something that you need to look into. I'm not going to do it right now. But as far as the trading fees on Bybit go, which is why I stress to use limit orders, I only use limit orders across the board, because usually limit orders are cheaper than market orders. That is incredibly true on Bybit. On Bybit, you actually get a rebate for placing a trade. So you can literally use a limit order to enter the market, and Bybit will pay you a fee to have taken that trade. Essentially, they will pay you to enter if you use a limit order. But if you use a market order, those fees are pretty steep, and like it, you know, like they're pretty steep. I'll leave it at that. You can look at the Bybit fees, or again, the reason why I don't want to get too involved in it is because I am coming out with another video that is going to specifically talk about leverage trading on Bybit. And like that's just kind of it. It's going to talk to you like all the bot settings that you've seen today. Like I was going to go through that in incredible detail. So that's why I don't want to like get into it too much. But yes, he's correct. You actually get paid to trade on Bybit, which is another reason that I like it. Okay. A lot of this. Adam, when does ETH stop being an altcoin? I mean, honestly, it's almost not an altcoin anymore. You know what I mean? Like to me, this is just me, but I look at Ethereum as kind of like the king of the altcoins, though. You know, like it's kind of like it's so big now, like it kind of deserves its own, you know, kind of like its own title. I don't know if I would necessarily call ETH an altcoin either, but that's, you know, not that big of a deal, I guess. Okay. Thanks for all your efforts. Gridbot. So I had mentioned this earlier. When can we expect a video about gridbots? That's last on my list, honestly, because I know that people have asked me for gridbots. I am still planning on doing a video about them. It's just that I haven't touched on all of the other things that I think are more relevant to majority of the people that like majority of the community. So I want to make sure that I touch on the rest of those videos first before I kind of dive into like the super specialized, you know, something like a grid bot that we're not, like I would say the majority of people who are in our community aren't going to use, if that makes sense. So like it's like, because it takes a lot of time for me to put the videos together too. And like if only like a small percentage of my community is gonna like be interested in it, you know, like I still want to do it, obviously, like I'm happy to do it, but I want to make sure I cover like the more, you know, the broader stuff first, if that makes sense. Premier Crypto 11, that's a really good question. What's going on with the Legends crew? I'm still kind of working on that. I'm gonna start actually talking to the admins about that, because initially like people that got promoted to Legends all became admins, and that wasn't intentional. It just kind of happened, you know, because like you were seeing, it was getting to the point where I was struggling getting back to people. Like I would wake up in the morning and I'd have like 150 DMs just on Discord alone, like, and my whole screen would be full of like people private messaging me, and then, you know, people were obviously tagging me in Discord as well, but like it got really difficult. So, you know, that's kind of like the Legends was, I had like this kind of initial plan for the Legends, but then it kind of became like admins, and then now the Legends room is empty. So I'm still definitely going to do something with that, but I did want to like, I'm still thinking about kind of like what I can do with that, if that makes sense. So Phoenix, so do you ever use log scale for your technical analysis? Absolutely, especially when I'm looking on higher time frames. And the thing is, when you're using log scale, it's for like when you're looking at really long price action history. I use log scale for sure. And I'll give you an example. So like this is again back to my Bitcoin video that I've done. Let me go to. Just give me a second. I do want to wrap it up here. It's been quite a while. It's been a lot of fun though. Let's see, BLX chart. Come on, there you are. So here's the BLX chart. You're gonna recognize this from my videos. So when like you're putting in the log growth curve, this is what it looks like. It doesn't make any sense, but this is what it looks like until you put it in log scale. And then that's how you get this chart. Which again, like this is one of the reasons why I don't think that Bitcoin has topped out yet in this cycle, because like this, the log growth curve has literally done a phenomenal job calling the market tops. You can see. So here's your 20K blow off top Bitcoin back in 2017, all the way back down to your 3K lows. And you can see like kind of where we're at right now, you know, like we got a ways to go to get up to the top. That's if, you know, if we do, and it's not guaranteed obviously, but if you're looking at it from this perspective, like this is essentially what you kind of be looking for, right? So yes, I do use log scale. Anytime I'm using like really long, if I'm trying to analyze like a long span of price action or something that's incredibly volatile. So like I'll show you if I take this off. Okay, so if I take this off a log scale, look what happens. It's like you don't even see like this. You can't even do anything with this. You know what I mean? It becomes incredibly difficult for you to try to do analysis on a scale like this. If you're trying to do something back from like 2011 and you want to incorporate that price action though, but when you click log scale, then it becomes easier to do. So yes, I do use log scale. And I'll cover that at some point in the future for sure. Okay. TLM real quick. I did have a TLM. I ran that on its listing day and did pretty well. And I ended up shutting the bot down because it was starting like it was kind of getting deep in safety orders, like really deep. And then it would pop back up, taking me out. And it just slowed down a lot. It just slowed down quite a bit. So I ended up cutting the bot, but I did have a TLM bot, but I don't anymore. So Christos, can you teach us some basics of your kind of technical analysis? It's coming, I promise. Like there'll be like, I don't want to do it right now because it would do a disservice to you, honestly. Like I rather have my detailed videos, just like trading bots, how I take kind of step by step and explain things one video at a time. That's really what I want to do. I promise it's coming. Okay. I think that's it. We've been over 2 hours now. There's still 133 people here after 2 hours. So major props to all of you for sticking around, obviously. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you had a great time. And again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. And, for those of you, obviously, like if you could do me a favor and go to my Twitter and, wow, check this chick out. But like, where's my profile? I'm at 981 followers. Can you please help me get to 1,000? Please, I'm begging you. I'm going to beg you to get me to 1,000. But anyway, and I will post the link in here for you, which by the way, I'm going to be, definitely doing a lot more on Twitter. There's the link. But anyway, thank you to everybody again. If you like this stream, comment on it when you can comment on it. Give it a like. Let me know in Discord what you liked about it. And I'd love to do it again. So if the next one, if there's some kind of structure that you want, if there's particular questions you want me to cover, or if you just want to do another kind of open question and me answer, I'm happy to do it. It's whatever you guys want to do. But that being said, have a great day. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one.